For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in today. So this is really cool. So last week on the show, we had Liz from Big Brother. And you people blew up our website, our email, and our DMs wanting to hear from more of the house guests. So we do what you tell us. That's how this show works. So get this. Big Brother winner Steve will be joining us in the next segment, and right after that, Johnny Mac. It is the ultimate showmance, or bromance as they call it today on The Scribble, so stick around, we're going to get into the celebrity phone right after this.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom41.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 41.com. Go to freedom41.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom41.com.
Celeb spotting on The Scribble.
The latest winner of Big Brother, he's joining us on the line. Steve, how are you?
Good, I am fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. First off, congrats on the big win.
Thank you. It's been a very eventful week, I can say that.
Well, okay, so first I have to know, though, and this might be a dumb question, did you think that you would win? Now, of course, everybody goes on the show thinking they're going to win, maybe more so for a superfan, but when it was down to the final 3, it was down to the final 2, did you think the money was yours?
It was really scary because I know what a phenomenal game Vanessa played, and I knew that'd be very hard to win the jury if I was in the final 2 with Vanessa. And she proved that she was great at endurance comps, and she's a great social player, so I thought she'd be great at part 3 with completing the jury statement. So I was really nervous that I would have to beat her in that final head of household competition if I wanted to win.
Right. So let's talk about gameplay then. You mentioned Vanessa. Being a super fan, what mistakes did you observe about her game? Now, first off, have you watched the show back? Have you seen the episodes?
No, I've seen a few bits and pieces, but I haven't seen a whole lot.
Okay, so from when you were in the house then, were there any things that in your mind that were making you say, yeah, you know what, you shouldn't be doing that? No.
Actually, no. I think Vanessa is an absolutely brilliant player. I think she's going to go down as one of the greats in Big Brother history, and I have nothing but the utmost respect for her game, and that's exactly why I couldn't take her to the final 2.
Let's talk about your preparation for the game. Again, being a super fan, you've watched all the seasons, you've seen how people go onto the show. You probably have to change your approach once you're in there, right? Because it's also dependent on other people's personalities as well. So what did you change about your... Go ahead.
My strategy going in actually seemed to work out pretty well. If you watch what I said in a lot of my pre-bid interviews, I stuck to it pretty closely. I wanted to play the sweet, innocent, naive kid who didn't know what was going on. It would never be a threat to your game. I got into an alliance where I sat at the bottom of the alliance with the Scamper Squad / Freaks and Geeks. That way, if my alliance was in power, I'd be safe. And if the other alliances was in power, I'd also be safe because they go after the people at the top of my alliance. The other big thing I did is in playing up the sweet kid, I made sure other people think they can control me. I want to seem easily manipulatable, easily malleable, so that way, once it gets down to one side of the house, they're going to want to take me to the end because people are going to know they can manipulate me into taking them to final 2 if I win the final HOH or situations like that.
So you use the words sweet, innocent. So describe yourself in one word. Who is the real Steve? One word.
Oh, I think everything I showed about myself and being the sweet, innocent kid is actually true. I think I exaggerated it in the house to appear more extreme than it was. But even though I exaggerated the magnitude, the actual idea there is genuinely me.
Last week on our show, we had Liz, of course, the Ost twins and the couple, Liz and Austin. What did you think about his gameplay? Alliances with literally everybody.
If you can be aligned with everyone in the house and you can pull it off without people figuring it out, it's a great strategy. I mean, that's how Derek won last year, and he played a brilliant game. And I think Austin having the twins around him, people were scared to go after them for the longest time, and I think it was a brilliant strategy on his part.
Did anybody surprise you? You said that you haven't seen all of the shows yet, but when you were in the house, maybe it was winning competitions or strategic gameplay. Did anybody surprise you?
Vanessa surprised me time and time again. She pulled off a lot of really big stunts in this house, which, as a super fan, I have to appreciate. I will never understand how she talked Julia into picking to go against Austin in the Bowl Arena competition.
Right.
Or how, when Austin was head of household, he got Austin to nominate me and John said it, Megan James. I mean, just time and time again, Vanessa pulled these rabbits out of her hat, and I don't know how she did it, but she was an absolutely brilliant player.
Now, we had some questions sent in. If you could team up with any former house guest and play as an All-Stars pair, who would you go with?
Ooh, great question. Again, I'm not going to be doing All-Stars. I've had plenty of enough time in the reality TV spotlight. But I think someone who'd be great to work with would be Danielle Reyes from Season 3 in All-Stars. I'm a huge fan of hers. She's a very, very loyal player, which I like, because, Vanessa and I were kind of going back at each other a lot. Same with Johnny Mac, we never fully trusted each other. But Danielle Reyes is a really loyal player, and I know I could really trust her, so I could give her that trust back. Plus, she's a really, really smart player.
It's funny you mentioned John. So Rick asked, which showmance will last the longest, Liz and Austin or you and Johnny Mac?
Well, the thing about a bromance as opposed to a showmance is there isn't as much commitment or jealousy or all that involved. So I think that just generally bromances tend to be more stable than showmances. However, I think Liz and Austin, they're both really into each other. And they could definitely end up lasting and becoming a real thing outside the house. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if they end up succeeding as a couple. So
you would go to the wedding, you're saying?
It depends on the timing and how everything else works out, but I would definitely love to go to the wedding. I don't know if I could, but I'd definitely be very interested in going.
Yeah, well, you can afford to go now, right?
I suppose so.
So Jessica wrote in, what was your favorite thing to do in the house to pass the time?
I spent a lot of time just studying, whether it be order of HOHs, order of vetoes, knowing the days, knowing the competitions, counting things in the house, because I was always wondering if this would be a competition. So just things like there being 720 chains in the purple room, or 16 she shells, or 218 on the shelf, 218 rocks on the shelf in the purple room. Just studying up, getting myself in shape, because those last couple of competitions are so important. I want to be prepared for them as I can, and they very frequently are quizzes on things that have happened earlier in the season.
Another question sent in, are you as emotional in real life as you were in the house, or does the game play mind tricks on you?
The game plays mind tricks on you. It's so hard when you have nothing else to focus on for 98 days. I think one of the things that's most fatiguing about the house is that you're surrounded by people who ultimately want you to fail the entire time. Like, even your closest friends and allies in the house are just people who want you to fail later rather than sooner. So, and anything else you do in life, at school or at work, you even have you have other people who are just completely unrelated to what you're working on who want you to succeed. And it's so hard, you've never interacted with someone you want to succeed. So no, I don't. Yeah, the house definitely brought a lot of emotion in me that I haven't experienced before. I've never gotten an emotional roller coaster like that before.
Irene asked, well, I'm going to ask it anyway. Did you make any game moves that you regret? I mean, you won, so bottom line is you won, but was there anything that you did that you regret doing in the house?
The one question mark that's still in my head on whether it was the right move or not with the information I had at the time was throwing that Final Four veto. There was a huge part of me that wanted to get Vanessa out in Final Four and keep her out of Final Three, since I know she would have been such a strong competitor in the Final Three head of household. But my fear was if I went to Final Three with me, Johnny Mac, and Liz, Johnny Mac, in taking me, there'd be 4 Scamper Squad votes in the jury, so we had a very hard time winning. But if Johnny Mac were to take Liz, there'd be 3 Scamper Squad votes and then a Rockstar vote for me. So I was still afraid that Johnny Mac would take Liz over me, and Liz saw Johnny Mac as being a weak player because Johnny Mac never won head of household. So I was so afraid that Liz would take Johnny Mac. And I was so scared that if I got rid of Vanessa, I'd be in a situation in the final three where the only way I could get to final two is by winning that final head of household. And obviously, your goal in any final three is to make it so you don't have to win. And I didn't want to put myself in that spot, and I was afraid I would be there if I got rid of Vanessa. I keep going back and forth. I don't know what the right decision was with the information I had at the time, but the question mark that'll stick in my head is throwing the final four veto.
What advice would you give to somebody? We asked Liz the same question. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to go on the show next year?
For playing the game?
Yeah.
I think the one thing, I know it's very hard to keep your emotions out of the game. You saw I definitely got emotional at times. But the one thing I can say is I never let my emotions or personal feelings influence my decision. I was there to play a game, and every step of the way, my only question is what's going to get me further, what gives me the best chance of getting to the end. I never thought about who I liked. I never thought about who I didn't like. I never thought about what my feelings were, because my feelings don't matter. What matters is what's going to get me further. That's the only thing I ever put any emphasis on.
Right. Trevor wrote in, this is a good one. See if you'll play along. Can you do your best impression of Johnny Mac's laugh?
I don't know. His laugh is amazing. I don't know. Johnny Mac, he's such a great friend. He is such a great, I loved him so much, but I just gave you my best shot at it.
Okay, one more time.
I can't do it justice.
One more time.
Oh, and it sounds loud? That was awful. I can't do it. He's good at what he does. I can't do the kid.
So I gotta know then, what are you doing with the money?
With me and my social skills, I didn't think winning was a possibility, so I never thought about the money. So it was a very, very pleasant surprise, but by no means was expecting it or planning for it because I didn't think I would win. I haven't done anything. I bought a Wii U, and I'm going to buy 2 stereo pair of microphones. Beyond that, I'm just going to save. I'm not going to make any big, elaborate purchases. Some college loans I'm going to pay for my last semester of school. But right now, I'm just looking to save and let it grow as much as I can. I definitely no plans for any big, extravagant purchases.
I was going to say, do you have a lot more friends now? We hear that with lottery winners, right? Everybody is all of a sudden their friend and comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, some people come out of the woodwork. I've been very popular on Facebook and Twitter. There are some people who weren't particularly nice to me at school who have been my best friend out of me coming out of the house. I've definitely experienced that. And I'm definitely going to have to be careful.
Well, I want to ask you about that then. How do you handle something like that? I've never been in that position, but, what do you say to those people? Are you nice to them? Do you just ignore them? What do you do?
I don't like being mean to people. I'm a nice person in life, but that doesn't mean I have to. I'm not going to be giving anyone anything, except for my family, who has been there for me the whole time. So it doesn't matter. If they want to start being nice to me, cool. They're not going to get anything out of it, but I have no problem with building a bridge.
So he is the champion of Big Brother 17. Great chatting with you, Steve, and congrats again on the win.
Yes, and again, thank you, Jeremy, for having me.
No problem.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now. And in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-478-9568 and get your free bottle. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-478-9568. That's 800-478-9568.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Celeb spotting on the Scribble.
Johnny Mac from Big Brother joining us on the line here to talk about the show. Hey, John.
What's up? How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Well, I got to ask you to sum up the experience then of being on Big Brother. I mean, was it what you expected?
It was not all I expected. I didn't realize there would be so much downtime. Like, I watched the show for years, and then when I finally got in there, I was like, there was a lot of time where you're not doing a competition. All you could do is sit there and plot, or build things with cereal boxes, or sleep. And so sometimes you lose your mind just because you have nothing to do.
So it's like a 90-day vacation, because you know what, I'm like that when I go on holidays. I'm fine for the first day, and then I'm just stir crazy at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like going on vacation, but there's no cell phone. There's people in there, but you pretty much had every single conversation you could have possibly had at some point. You know everything about every one of them, and you run out of stuff to do.
I was going to say, I guess at that point, you run out of things to talk about, and then people just start opening up about the weirdest things about themselves, don't they?
Yeah, that stuff starts coming out, all the weird comes out, and then you just start talking crazy. Like, a lot of things you say, they're not real sentences anymore. All of that happens, for sure.
Okay, so let's get into that, because, I mean, you're out of the house now, everybody's back to their regular lives, so what's something that you just thought, that's way too much information that somebody shared?
Oh, in there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, there was so many. I don't know if I could say that on the radio.
Oh, you know what? Go for it. And if we can't, well, we'll edit it out. What do you have?
Vanessa talking about her flow.
Okay, we can leave it at that. There you go. We won't.
Yeah, how about that? Is that good enough?
I don't know if it's good, but sure. All right, that's acceptable. We'll use that.
It's something that I didn't want to hear about.
No, and most people probably wouldn't. So, is it the downtime then that's the hardest thing about being in the house?
Yeah, it's the downtime, and you can't really tell from the show or the feed, but we're locked inside 4 out of 7 days of the week because they're setting up the competitions outside. So there's only 3 days where you could go outside. 4 out of the 7 days, you're locked in those rooms that are inside. So bathroom, kitchen, bedrooms, and that's it. That's all you can do. You can't go outside and do anything. So you're just stuck right there.
Right. So we had a bunch of questions sent in for you. So here's one that, did you ever forget the cameras were there, or are you aware of their presence all the time?
You kind of forget. They go to the back of your mind, but the first couple of weeks there, you're like, all right, well, maybe there's some things that I should not say in here. I don't want to bring up my friends' names and any stories or things like that. So you just kind of get into this habit where you know what you can and can't do in there, or you have to get changed under a towel or in the bathroom where no one can see you. It's just those habits get ingrained. You just kind of forget about the cameras, and then sometimes near the end when there weren't so many of us left, you'd be walking around, you're the only one moving, and you could hear the camera following you, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm being watched. Forgot about that.
Right.
And if it's something that you're not cool with the whole world seeing, you just don't do it.
Which seems rather painful for that long of a time, but anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, it could be.
So what was the first thing you did when you returned back to real life after the show?
First thing I did when I got back to real life, I had a Dogfish Head IPA beer, because in there, the alcohol we were given, it wasn't my favorite choice. I'm glad that they gave it to us, but it wasn't my top choice of beer, so I had a really good one. I sat down, and I was like, all right, I don't know what to do next, but there's been a whole lot of stuff to do, and it's been crazy since I've been back.
Have you watched the show at all, or no?
I haven't watched the show. I watched a couple of the competitions to see how they were edited, but I haven't watched the actual show yet. I haven't even started.
Any surprises in the editing then, or was it all pretty much how it played out?
So the edits made the twins seem a lot smarter than they did in the house. That was pretty good.
Okay, wait, now talk about that, because Liz is on our show, or she was on our show last week, actually. So what about that? What about the editing?
There was one competition that this bugged me. It was the emojis one that I lost to her. So yeah, I am kind of bitter. So that's probably why I went to that one. But the last question that I lost to her on was, we were given 3 different different emojis, and the question was, which one of these emojis is up there 5 times? And the picture shows up, and all 3 of the options are up there at least 4 times, but one of them was up there 5 times. And she just smacked the button. She's like, oh my God, I only counted to 4. I just lost. I was like, oh my God, really? She happened to hit the one that was 5, and on the show it doesn't acknowledge this at all. It just makes her seem like she got it right, like she knew what she was doing. And I was like, I'm like ranting in the diary room, like, I'm going to get evicted because she can't count to 5. This is ridiculous. So, yeah, just stuff like that, like things about the competitions that didn't make it. The slippery soap one, Becky and I had a deal during that. That never made it onto the show. So,
what was the deal?
Stuff like that.
What was the deal?
Oh, she wanted to win it, so I started spilling stuff everywhere. I didn't tell, like, she just told me, like, I need, like, when we were starting, and, like, Jackie, her, me, and, like, maybe Shelly were pretty even. She was just, like, whispering, like, I need this more than you. I was like, all right, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, Steve was just on with us earlier in the show. So let's talk about the relationship that you had with him in the house. What was it about him that made you two so close?
He's dirty just like me, so we could talk about nerd stuff. He didn't know, but I got the show pretty well, and I knew that he understood the show pretty well. The only reason that I didn't work, like, I wanted to work with Becky over because I just was thinking back to season 14, like, Ian was a target, made it to the end, and these people won't let that happen again, so he'll go at some point. But everyone just let him go to the end again. So maybe I was really dumb in making that decision. But yeah, he knew what he was doing. Like, I could feel vibes on people, and when he was talking to me, I felt like he was being truthful. So whereas Vanessa, like, I knew I couldn't trust her as far as I could throw her, but there's times where he just, like, had to work with her. So he was definitely a more loyal person to work with, I thought. So that's probably why.
I asked him this too. When it was down to the final 3, or actually even to the final 2, did you think that he would win it all?
I knew he was going to win when it got down to... Once I saw Vanessa walk out on the stage, I knew he was going to win. I tried as best I could to bash Liz at that jury meeting. I think I got through to some people. I think a lot of it they were thinking on their own. If it was him and Vanessa in final 2, it would have been close, but I think he might have still won by, like, 1 vote.
When the jury gets together and has that sort of debate back and forth, did everybody have their mind set up as to who they were voting for? Like, did anybody change their vote at the end that you know of?
Not everyone had their mind made up. And really the best you can do when you don't know who the final 2 is just have a hierarchy in your head, I guess, of who you're going to vote for. But Austin and Julia were obviously dead set on Liz, and they were just arguing all the reasons why Vanessa's just... She didn't play a moral game, and we're like... A lot of us are like, well, yeah, but she played better.
Right.
And I think Meg and James were really in Steve's corner to win. And I think Shelly, Jackie, Becky, me were a little undecided, but we're more giving Vanessa credit for the game she played. So yeah, it would have been close if Vanessa got there. Because if Vanessa gets there, I guess you have Liz, Julia, Austin voting. I feel like Steve might have had Austin, the twins, and maybe Meg and James, and that would have given him a win over Vanessa. So it would have been really close. I don't know if Meg and James were completely set on Vanessa, though.
How annoying were the Oz twins to be around in the house? Were they obnoxious?
I'm biased, because by the time I'm leaving the house, like, I have none of my friends left. They did a really good job of getting rid of everyone I liked hanging out in the house, within the house, and it was like summer camp for everyone. So Austin, the twins, James and Meg, they're just out in the kitchen, like, they're like, yay, let's play pop ball, and I'm just like, this is terrible. I'm about to get evicted. I don't want to play pop ball right now. And it was just annoying to hear them talking all the time, being so happy all the time. It's just like, the power goes to their head, and you just get aggravated, and they're like not even thinking, oh, maybe he's a jury vote. I have to not be so rude all the time. So that's the way I felt most of the time. I just had to play nice until I could do something about it, which took forever. And I didn't like being around them. No.
Pam asked, well, maybe you almost just answered this. Who was the most annoying person to live with?
Yeah, it would be the twins together as a group. When they were alone, it was okay, but when they were together, it was just awful.
Okay. Ben asked, how important were alliances in getting you through the game?
They were important, but I guess people call it floating. What I did, but at the same time, I was like, I didn't want it to be completely on one side or the other, because I thought both sides they had their problems. I didn't really vibe well with Austin, the twins, and Vanessa, and the whole. Well, I guess I got along with Clay and Shelley kind of, but they weren't really on my side. I'm finding out. I didn't get along with that alliance, and on the other alliance, if I had teamed up with the Goblins early on, I felt like I was high on the pecking order, with Jason, Becky, and me could win comps, so I didn't want to completely align with them because I would go before Meg or James, and I didn't like being the target for the group, so I tried to just stay on my own and I don't know, get close with Becky, get close with Clay and Shelley the best I could, and take it from there, just smaller groups, and not have too many alliances going on, because I always wanted people that were not talking a lot of game with me, because I wanted to put them on the block if I ever did win an HOH. I wanted options.
Right. So we always hear this when the show is over, everybody's back home. We always hear that, we're going to be friends forever. We're going to be staying in touch. Is that really the truth? Are you keeping in touch with anybody?
Yeah, I'm keeping in touch with people, but at the same time, my best friends from high school and college, we barely talk. So to some extent, I'm not going to talk to anyone, but keeping in contact with the people I was closest in the house. I imagine there's still people from the house that don't like me, and that's cool, but I think that we're all going to be okay with each other as people. I don't hate anyone that was in there. I don't hate anyone, that's for sure.
Okay, well, you mentioned that. So who is it that you think doesn't like you? Why? What did you do that people don't like you?
I don't know. It's just it was a state of Austin and Twins. I don't know if it was just on a game level. I think that they just didn't want me in there, and emotions get high in there, and just for game reasons they wanted me out. I think that's all it was.
We hear that all the time too when it comes to nominating or voting. That it's nothing personal, it's gameplay, but it kind of is personal to a point, isn't it?
Yeah, it has to be personal to a point. Yeah, because it's a person you're taking out, but at the same time, it's if I'm playing I don't know, you ever play Sorry, the board game? If I'm playing that with my friends, I'm not gonna be nice to them. I'm gonna try to win,
Right.
So it's like that. It's just extended and blown up, and more emotions get involved. But at the same time, you can't be mad at someone for taking you out of the game because the whole reason that you're there is because you're a greedy person that wants $500,000. You can't feel bad for taking someone like that out of the game,
Right. So, okay, the show is over, back home now. Is life back to normal? Can you just jump right back into normal life? What are you up to now?
People know who I am. That's weird. So that's fun. And tomorrow I'm going back to work because I didn't win any money, and I have student loans to pay off. So I have to get back at it. I gotta start bringing the money in, whether I like it or not. I'm going in, and I'm working on some teeth tomorrow.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in your career again. And would you go back on the show as an all-star or no?
Right now, I'm just I went 91 days in there, and I didn't win anything. I was like, wow, this is a huge commitment. So I'm just still kind of decompressing from the whole thing, but everyone who's been on the show before is give it 2 weeks and you want to go back. So I imagine that's what's going to happen.
Well, we might be seeing you on TV again. Johnny Mac from Big Brother.
Sure, why not?
Thanks so much for joining us today, John.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Take care.
We hear you chirp. typing, get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's right, Larson, at The Scribble Show. And you know what? As I mentioned at the top, that's why we had today's guests on, Steve and Johnny, is because you wanted to hear about them after we had Liz on the show last week. So if there's anybody, any guest, a reality show, celebrity, whatever it is, tweet us at The Scribble Show or send an email to jb@jbonair.com, jb@jbonair.com. Who knows what's coming up next week on The Scribble? Thanks for tuning in on SoundCloud and iTunes and at thescribbleshow.com. My name is Jeremy Bradley. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat, give your